The enemy is
all.
picking.
This land is our homeland. Battle of security.
Please pick a hero.
Not a problem.
Probably some of you might have expected Fredring after reading the title, but unfortunately he's often banned. But fear not, because there's a few more options you can choose from when you see that the opponents have some very scary burst heroes. Barret still remains a pretty solid choice for the jungler role, especially if you are facing lots of one-shotters or your team is quite squishy, but also needs a jungler as well. Since we are clearing the buff so fast, I want to go steal their small camp next. Also, this gives us the option to invade the red buff next if they didn't start with it first. With our composition, we definitely can play quite aggressively right from the start. Quite unfortunate that our tank took the last hit, because that would have helped me regain some HP. It's quite important to understand the strengths and weaknesses of your team and the opponent's composition right from the start. Understanding this will allow you to know when you should play more aggressively or passively, and once you have fully mastered this concept, you will see that you will win more often. Since we stole their buff, there is a good chance he will try to do the same. I personally will try to do that, but at the same time, it could be a huge waste of time and further delay your own farm. So it's a pretty high risk, high reward play. Scaring the opponents away will make things easier when taking the neutral objectives, especially if you can force their dash skills. When you have the lead, try your best to keep increasing that gap by playing extra aggressive and further delaying the opponent's farm. One of the things that we might struggle with in the late game is that we don't have lots of burst heroes, so if Edith, Cecilia and Bruno are attacking freely during the team fights, they can easily melt us down. Usually, I would say to not clear the wave before the 5-minute mark if you are the jungler, but there are certain occasions that you want to clear it. One of these instances will be when the teammates who is in charge of the lane won't make it before the minion wave is gone. and you are certain that you will most likely get a lot of gold from the turret shield. Almost 300 bonus gold. That's absolutely massive, especially in the early game. I'm so fed at this point that I'm not afraid to continue with the aggression. By the way, in this match, I felt our composition was lacking a bit of damage, so I went for an extra offensive item. This is why you saw that I dealt a lot more damage just now. Try your best to keep your stacks up, because size matters in this instance. Hayabusa used his dash to get to the lane quicker, so he had no choice but to ult and hope to buy enough time for his dash cooldown. Lapu is quite low. We can easily turret dive him, since we both have full HP and super tanky as well. I thought I reset the turret's aggro, but this hero is so big that you need to take a few extra steps to get out of his range. Anyway, the game would have been too dull if we didn't intentionally die there. Forget about the total, winning the team fight is more important here. Their Haya is making the right play by split pushing and stealing our buff because he knows very well that the teamfight is already over and he won't be able to do much for now. All he needs to do is to get a bit more farm and he'll be able to start destroying our backline or split push with ease. This game is actually pretty even now. When you see that you're about to get stunned, use your ult to become immune to CC. Okay, maybe we might have given them a bit too much to bite.
that dog doing?
Oh my God!
Their Sicilian had no mana. This is our chance to counterattack. I guess I forgot that Lapu also become immune to CC when he ults. By the way, the reason why my hero went for Lapu instead of Sicilian there is because I had the wrong setting in target priority. It is supposed to be target the lowest HP.
Killing spree! Your team destroyed a turret!
He's just Big Bo. They call me a paper chaser? But Detna, who is it?
Initiate retreat!
They call me a paper chaser? But Detna, who is it?
You have slain an enemy!
If only we managed to kill their Sicilian as well there, then we could just simply push and ended the game without having to take the Lord. But because Sicilian was still alive, there was a good chance they could clear the way very fast, unless we got a hero that can easily dive their backline. But will you take that chance when you don't know if your random teammates are on the same page? Holy cow, the Bruno hits like Messi.
Shut down! Enemy triple kill! Enemy media!
Not gonna lie, I was starting to get a bit nervous.
Retreat!
Beatrix really need win on nature in this match. That's the reason she cannot fight against Bruno, Hayabusa and Lapu. Also, our Valentina didn't build her as a utility mage, so she's dying quite easily.
They call me a paper chaser? Detna, who is it?
Good snipe. Godly ult.
Your team destroyed a turret! Launch
The match play could have been a lot easier if we didn't troll here and there, but we gotta do what we gotta do for those interesting games, right? Winky face.
Victory!
Anyway, that's all for this video, and thanks for watching. See ya.